Having stable blood sugar levels is super important for weight loss and wellness goals. And you can track your blood sugar levels in real time. This is through something called a continuous glucose monitor. And they've become really popular lately. A lot of my clients really love using it. So I went ahead and tracked my blood sugar with one of these continuous glucose monitors, or otherwise known as a CGM, to see if I would learn anything new or if it's really worth it or not. And let me tell you, there are actually some crazy things I learned, and also some people I realized who this wouldn't be good for. So I'm going to be going over all of that in today's video. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance. Okay, so how a continuous glucose monitor or CGM works is that it's essentially just constantly testing your blood sugar levels about every 5 minutes or so. So it's this little pad with this tiny little needle that you keep on you throughout the 10-day period, and you change it out every 10 days. You can put it either on your stomach or on your arm. A lot of people will put it on their arm, and then the CGM will send data to your phone every 5 minutes of what your blood sugar level is. And then the app helps you to decipher what's really happening with these blood sugar levels in response to your meals or your exercise. So there are a couple different continuous glucose monitors you can use. I use one called Levels. I found it's the most user-friendly. It's really easy to put on, and the app interface gives you a lot of information regarding how your body is responding to certain meals or certain activities. So I went ahead and used Levels for the 30-day test. Now, I started tracking my blood sugar levels at about 5-ish weeks postpartum, so probably not the best time. And I plan on doing another test a few months from now to see how things compare. So the first kind of strange thing I learned from this test is that hot baths really spike blood sugar. This is probably one of the wildest things that I saw because the spike was huge. I was feeling under the weather one day, so I decided to take a really hot bath. I hadn't eaten like right before it, so my blood sugar levels shouldn't have been impacted by my food. And I sat in my bath, which was really hot, sweating for like 30 minutes. And then later that day, I checked my blood sugar levels, and right around the time of my bath, my blood sugar spiked really high. Now, this is likely because of something called the hormetic stress response. This is basically where your body experiences short bursts of beneficial stress, like being in a hot bath or a sauna or exercise, so that it can then adapt and become more resilient. So even though there was a blood sugar spike with the really hot bath, it's kind of to be expected and also a good thing. Okay, the second thing I learned and really got to visually experience is that walking drastically lowers blood sugar levels. Now, this is something I've talked about so much on my channel. There's so much research behind how walking can lower our blood sugar levels and help stabilize our blood sugar and make it easier for our body to tap into fat burning. But with the continuous glucose monitor, I got to actually see this in effect. Like, my blood sugar levels would start off a little bit higher, and then you could see right when the walk started, it significantly dipped down. Okay, the third really surprising thing that I learned is just how impactful stress is on our blood sugar levels. Now, we know that stress makes us more insulin resistant, which can result in those higher blood sugar levels, and is also why stress could lead to weight gain around the belly. But man, like, I saw this in action, and it was mind-blowing because during the time that I was wearing the CGM was right when my husband was going back to work after his pat leave. So you could see on Sunday, my average blood sugar level for the entire day was about like 10 or 15 points lower than the very next day. And that's because I was home by myself working and taking care of our newborn, and obviously a little bit stressed. Or should I say like very, very, very stressed and sleep deprived. And that was just the difference between one day. So I think what's really important about this aspect to learn is that stress, especially over time, can really work against our weight loss and wellness goals. So obviously there's always going to be stressors in our life, but we need to find ways that we can help to de-stress or balance out those stressors. For me, that was figuring out a new routine with a newborn and a full-time job. And once I had that routine down, my stress levels significantly went lower. And as a result, my blood sugar levels seemed to balance back out, or at least as much as they can while you're not getting great sleep, which leads me to the fourth really interesting thing I learned: just how impactful poor sleep is, especially on nighttime blood sugar levels. So obviously during the nighttime, you're not eating, especially if you're following intermittent fasting. It's been a while since you've eaten. So food should not have an impact on blood sugar levels in the middle of the night. This is where waking up frequently can really impact your blood sugar levels, because obviously with the new baby comes very varied sleep, to put it lightly. Thankfully now we're getting anywhere between 6 to 8 full hours of sleep a night, which has really helped with my blood sugar levels too, and obviously my energy levels and stress for that matter. But the nights that I was waking up like every hour, every couple of hours to feed Sage or to change her or whatever it might be, my blood sugar levels were going up and down into pretty high levels in the middle of the night. Now, my mental reasoning for why this probably was is because every time I was waking up, it was causing a little burst of cortisol, which is our stress hormone, which causes the body to release stored sugar from the liver and from the muscles. And then of course that would result in elevated blood sugar levels. And it was really interesting to see how even just after one night of poor sleep or one night of of great sleep, how different my blood sugar levels were in the middle of the night, as well as how that impacted my blood sugar levels the very next day. Okay, the fifth thing I learned is that my break fasts are absolutely on point. Protein, fat, and fiber for the win. I tested out a few different break fasts during this whole 30-day experiment. Mostly was having my protein waffles, skyr yogurt bowls, and smoothies, all of which are specifically designed to be low sugar, have high amount of protein, and good quality sources of fiber too, and of course high quality fats. So really structured around blood sugar stabilizing foods. Now obviously I created these meals to be blood sugar stabilizing, but what was interesting is seeing just how blood sugar stabilizing they were. So I mentioned how within the Levels app, they give you data on how your body responded and how you can interpret the blood sugar readings from the meals that you just ate. One feature they have is they'll give your meal a score out of 10 on how much it impacted your blood sugar levels. If you had 0 impact on your blood sugar levels, your blood sugar didn't even go up, you get a score of 10. If it went crazy up, you get a score of 1, which I've never actually seen that, but I'm assuming that can happen. All of my break fasts had essentially either 0 impact on blood sugar or just the slightest amount that gave it a score of 10 or 9. So really great, which the stable blood sugar helps the body to more easily shift back into a state of fat burning, which for myself and my weight loss goals postpartum is really great, but also helps make sure I don't get those energy crashes so I can have stable energy levels, which is so important now that I'm so busy with having a newborn and running a business full time. And having those stable blood sugar levels means that I'm not going to be snacking because I'm not hungry. Now, after doing this 30-day test on myself, there are certain people that I've realized this would be really great for, and others who maybe it's not as beneficial. It might be a waste of money. Now, there's really 3 types of people I've seen this will benefit. Obviously, the first one are those who are diabetic or need to control their blood sugar level. I mean, this one's kind of for obvious reasons, so I'm going to skip ahead to number 2. And that's the type of person who needs data to help keep them or get them on track. There's something really impactful about seeing real-time data, how your body is actually reacting to food or certain lifestyle factors. Maybe you've had a difficult time giving up your daily mocha, or maybe you're somebody who scrolls on Instagram right before bed and finding it hard to make changes to improve your sleep quality. Seeing how these things actually really impact your blood sugar level could possibly be the thing that helps you to take those steps to create new habits. Okay, the third type of person is if you're really data driven and just want to tailor your approach even more. This is kind of the camp that I fall into. I'm obviously always interested in learning how different things affect my body, how I can make myself feel even better, because each food or lifestyle factor is going to have a different impact from person to person. So for example, I tested out having lentils and I had a pretty significant amount just to see how this would impact my blood sugar levels. And granted, lentils are fairly low glycemic load. They also have fiber, they have some protein. So I wasn't expecting to see a huge spike, although I did see a little bit of a bump. So obviously to be expected. But then I've had clients where they'll test out something like lentils in the same amount and see a drastically high blood sugar response from lentils. Or on the flip side, you could be somebody who doesn't really have a high glycemic response to oatmeal where others do. Or maybe you didn't realize that your sleep is terrible and that you really need to improve your quality of sleep, and seeing that CGM data could help give insights into what your sleep quality really is. But you don't need to be worrying all the time, and I don't really recommend that because it's easy to get wrapped up in even too much data. What we're looking for, if you fall into this camp, is really to just get an idea of what different lifestyle or food factors might impact you in a different way than someone else, and then taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. But you don't need to be tracking it nonstop. And if you don't fall into one of these categories, or if you are new on your weight loss journey and you're just in the beginning phases of making changes, I wouldn't necessarily recommend starting off with a continuous glucose monitor, because there's a lot of essentially intro steps you need to take first, even just shifting your body over to using protein, fat, and fiber rich foods, adding in strength training, adding in walking, all the things that we talk about on my channel. And then from there, if you find you're having a difficult time letting go of some old habits, or if you want to take those next steps and further hone in on your individual response, then you could always do something like a CGM. But if you are in those beginning phases, then you might want to hold off on it for now. If you do want to test out a CGM, the one I use is called Levels. I'll have them linked down description below. Like I mentioned, it was really user friendly. I like their interface a lot, so it's a cool experiment if you want to test that out. Otherwise, if you want to see some of the meals that I eat to help support my blood sugar levels, you can check out this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.